So should I just drop it on the floor?
Yes. We should make an intro.
Ready to go, let's go.
Process when cut.
I like to put it like this. I don't just fill roles. I partner with you to get your company to the next level. The only way you're gonna make it from a 10-person startup to a 100-people billion-dollar company is with key people in the key roles, and the only way to get those people is partnering up with someone that understands your needs.
We are here today with Mauricio Montaldo, our specialist recruiter specializing in placing really talented developers. So, to start off with today, I want to start off with a question to start off the episode.
Yes.
If you had to choose one place in the whole entire world and you could teleport to right now, where would it be?
Greece.
There you go. Where in Greece?
Santorini.
Santorini. Right now, you're on the beach in Santorini.
Yes.
Perfect. Love it. So what's the problem with the job description, Mauricio?
So a lot of the times, the job description is not exactly a representation of the need of what the client needs or has.
Right.
So I would say that's the number one problem. That pretty much where they're just putting together some things to just throw a job description. They can start getting resumes.
How do you push past this with the manager? How do you communicate this being the middleman in between?
So it's not easy, obviously, right? Everything's time. So time is money, and everyone's trying to do this as quick as possible. The number one thing is to have a proper conversation and fully understand the need of that manager in that role. Sometimes I do push back on the manager, and I'm like, look, is it okay if we can rewrite the job description? Is it okay if we can add things to the job description or take things out of the job description?
Like, how do you determine the need?
First off is understanding the company, so what they do. Once you understand what the company is doing, then you can break it into the actual manager, what is their part in this whole piece. And then once you understand that, then you ask them, okay, so what is this role? How this role came in? Is this person going to be filling a position that someone left? Is this a new position that came in? Is your team growing? And then based on that, then you can start breaking it down to actual technical skills, soft skills. Some people prefer to do contract. Some people prefer permanent.
Right.
So those will be like the number one things to start thinking about.
Do you have any examples of stories on where the job description wasn't it, and then they didn't want to change it, and then you went in and you were like, okay, this is how it's gonna go down?
One that I remember the most, it was insane because I actually told the manager, no, you need a DevOps that can be also a developer, not a developer that can do infrastructure. So I flipped it on the manager, and I was like, and I sent them people that I knew can do both things instead of what the title was. The problem here was the title. That's also a different problem that I see. They give you a title. They're like, okay, so we're looking for an engineer when they're really looking for something else.
Right.
And then if you send that to someone that doesn't know, then there's gonna be just searching on people on the title, and that's already a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to understand what they need. Then they give you the job description, the title,
and you're like,
and then you can do the search. I actually sometimes I don't even put the title they give me. I put a different title.
Yeah.
Not all the times, but sometimes,
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen. That they're like, okay, so we're looking for a back-end developer, and you're like, no, you really need a full stack because you also want the person to understand front-end technologies. Sometimes this is pushed to HR or this is pushed to someone, and then that's why having a partner that understands the need, is the one that is going to help you get your company to the next level. I like to put it like this. I don't just fill roles. I partner with you to get your company to the next level. The only way you're going to make it from a 10-person startup to a 100-people billion-dollar company is with key people in the key roles, and the only way to get those people is partnering up with someone that understands your needs.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. So what types of questions would you ask somebody when you're really trying to dig deep and figure out what is it that they really need?
When I getting a conversation with a candidate, one of my first questions is, what's your motivation on looking to something new? That tells me right there what is really what they're looking for. You know, are they looking for more money? Are they looking for growth? Are they looking for just a different environment? They're not happy in their current company. Why they're not happy? Oh, I just gotta go out of here. Okay, why? Oh, you know, I just have problems with the company. What type of problems are you having? So that's when you start like digging in. So you start fully understanding what motivates that person, and then based on that, once you really understand the need of the client, that's when you start matching, understanding the needs of the client, of the candidate, and what motivates them.
Right, and then you have like a backlog of candidates in your brain of like, if I say I need a Java developer, that's perfect at this one and the other, and he's from there, and he's willing to relocate, and this is the pay, you're like, I have the guy. How do you do that?
Well, it's years of experience. I've been doing this for close to 6 years. I've been working in all the different technologies all across the United States. I'm always getting up to date. I'm always talking to the same people. So I create all these connections with people that they text me, I text them, oh look, I'm back in the market, I'm looking for something else. So I'm always on top of the people that I've been able to create a really good rapport and just stay connected with them. LinkedIn helps that a lot. That's why they say network is everything, because really network is everything. The more people you know, the more jobs you fill, the more clients you help, then you know the more your network just becomes massive and massive. I can literally just get on my phone and I can talk to people that I placed 3 years ago, and that's why I have that ability to just connecting people with opportunities.
Yeah, that's how you build up the skill set. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
The final question on my end would be, what is your advice to the hiring managers writing job descriptions, especially for a critical role?
So job descriptions can be lengthy, can be long, and can be boring. I think the shorter and most precise is better than just something big and just, we're looking for this unicorn, or we're looking for all these things, and everyone knows that you're not gonna get someone with all those things. Most of the times you don't get someone with all those things, you know, when the job descriptions are huge. I would say these are the key components that we're using this. So we want someone that is using this or that has experience with this. Sometimes they're like, we need people with 7 years of experience. Okay, but what happens if you find a rock star with 5 years of experience? Will you be open to? So also try to open up the gap so you don't miss on other great candidates.
That's awesome. So opening up the gap, that's interesting. So when you have a conversation, they're like, I need 7 years and I need this and the other. You're like, what happens is with 5 years and then you have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Would you be open to it? So then that just puts them in a different mindset, makes them think different. And they're like, you know what? I would be open to it. That's actually not such a bad combination.
Correct.
So that's a great skill set to have, because thinking on the fly and being able to identify other candidates, you're like, I already know what's out there. And you already know what's realistic and what's not. That brings you as a valuable resource to them as well, because on the spot right there, you save them so much time already.
Exactly. And the number one thing I would say that the number one value that we bring in is our network.
Yeah.
Our network, literally. I see companies posting, they're like, okay, so we need an engineer with experience with Linux and any other types of infrastructure. And then you see the people that apply, you just get a bunch of people all over the world applying for positions that are not sometimes realistic. So when you talk to someone that actually is connected, that knows what everyone is doing, all the market is doing, then you know it just becomes easier to make that connection with the right person.
Definitely. So networking connections, everything.
Yes.
That's perfect. Thank you, Mauricio, for coming to the show, and we're so excited to have you. And
my pleasure.
We'd love to see you again. Share your expertise in the market.
I'll be here.
Sounds good. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.